Today we are going to take a look at the Nasdaq 100 from a technical, fundamental and order flow perspective. Now if you are new to the channel, this help would be appreciated as I provide valuable educational content on a daily basis. And if you enjoy the video, please smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And as always, let me know down in the comments below exactly what it is that you would like for me to cover in my next video. Now we're going to start with the technical data. Now if you start on the monthly time frame, firstly we can see how the market had broken above the strong level of resistance, came back to test it as support. The market had also broken below this very strong level of support, and it also tested it as resistance. It's unfortunate that the buyers remains bearish for the stock market as the Federal Reserve are looking to continue to hike interest rates, which is what we're going to speak about very shortly. Now if we drop down on the weekly time frame, we can clearly see the market had broken below this very important structure. This level over here acted as a strong level of resistance. The market broke below above that, came to test it as support multiple times. The market then finally broke below support, came back to test it as resistance, signaling us an indication that we can definitely expect the market to continue lower. Now if we drop down on the daily time frame, if you've checked out my Instagram, I said that we can definitely expect the market to continue higher from where it is here now to that level, and then expect that market to continue lower from that level as well. And that is exactly what the market had given us. If you've missed that opportunity, no need to worry, you can or still get into this market here as well. Now on the daily time frame, we can see how the market printed the strong level of resistance, broke above that, came to test it as support, and all of that support is what we're waiting for now. Is we need to wait for a clear break below this level, and then on the retest we're going to start looking for that continuation to the downside there as well. In doing so, will the market then print this head and shoulders pattern, which is considered a bearish pattern from a technical perspective, and that will give us a good entry point in order to drive the weight further down to the downside on the Nasdaq 100. The next thing we are going to look at over here is the order flow data, so the commitment of traders, and this tells us what the biggest banks, hedge funds and institutions are doing in the market. We can see based off last week's report, hedge funds came in, added 2,145 buy positions. They also added a massive 4,768 selling positions. The overall net positions went from 7,684 to a negative 2,623, signaling us that from an investor's perspective, they are not interested in buying the Nasdaq 100. We can definitely expect this continuation to the downside there as well. Next up, we had Mr. Powell that came through yesterday and had some words to say. It says here that Powell said the Federal Reserve will keep hiking interest rates until inflation has cooled down. That says here Jerome Powell said on Tuesday, which was yesterday, underscored the Federal Reserve determination to keep raising interest rates. Now, if you're not aware that as the Federal Reserve hikes interest rates, that means the dollar gets stronger and the stock market gets weaker. It says here a high stakes effort that carries the risk of causing an eventual recession. Now, if you've not watched the video that I've done on the recession, I'd suggest you go and take a look at that video that I have spoken about how all of this is going to lead to eventually the US getting into a recession at the end of the day as well. It says here the Federal Reserve in its benchmark short-term rate typically lead in turn to higher borrowing costs for consumers and businesses, including for mortgages, auto loans and credit cards. Powell said what we need to see is inflation coming down clearly in a clear and convincing way. Now we know that the inflation is sky high at the moment, the highest that it's been since 40 years ago. So Powell said that the only way that they are going to stop or not increase interest rates anymore is if they do see inflation slowing down. But inflation's not slowing down, meaning that they have to keep hiking the interest rates. And the more they hike the interest rates, the stronger the dollar gets, and the stronger the dollar gets, the weaker the stock market gets. That means composites like the Nasdaq, the US 30, as well as the S&P 500 is going to continue to fall until the inflation had slowed down. Now, that's all from my side. Thank you for your time. And as always, cheers for years.